Okay, we are learning Daf Mem Amid Aleph in Yoma. Here we go. We're going to start on again on Lamed Tes Amid Beis. I think it's the hardest Gemara we have learned since we started Arab Zachem. So get ready. Here we go. Okay, we are on the bottom of Lamed Tes Amid Beis. We did this Gemara already, but we got to get back into it to be able to really enjoy today's Amid. So we are going to start about 10 lines from the bottom on Lamed Tes Amid Beis. Amar B'yanai. We're talking about the goral that you did on the Shnei Seirim, on the two goats. You had to put one Lashem and one Lazazel. So we're going to have a machlekes here. If you obviously have to do the goral, the Torah says to do a goral. Is it ma'akiv? What happens if you didn't do the goral? Is that going to be an issue? So that's the machlekes we're going to have. Here we go. Amar B'yanai. Aliyas goral mitech kalpi ma'akavis. Taking drawing the lotto is ma'akav. So you have to do the goral. You got to take out the lotto pieces from the box. And if you didn't do that, you have a problem. Hanacha ein ma'akavis. But placing it on the animal is not ma'akav. Meaning, even though the Torah says v'nasan, the Torah does use such a language. Where is it? It says v'nasan oisam al reish hasoyer. He places them. So the kain. No, that's the pasuk. 1 second. Well, I can't find it here. But there is a pasuk that says puts it onto the animal. So there's definitely a mitzvah to do that, but Rabbi Yanai says that's not ma'akiv. Okay, so that's Rabbi Yanai's opinion. Rabbi Yechid Amar af aliyah in ma'akeves. Even drawing the lotto is not ma'akiv. You don't have to draw. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. It's a mitzvah to do the lotto. But if the kain just said this one's Lashem, this one's Lazazel, that'll work. Okay, that is machlekes Rabbi Yanai and Rabbi Yechid. Now we have another machlekes, and that's the machlekes Tanaim, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Nechemia. They discuss which of the kohen gadol's avodas are ma'akev. Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that only dvarim hanasim bebigdei lovan mibachutz le'ma'akvi. The avodas that the kohen gadol does while wearing his bigdei lovan outside of the kodesh hakadashim are not ma'akev. That means if he didn't do them, or if he did in the wrong order, that's not going to be a problem. It's only the avodas that are bifnim that are ma'akev. Ma'akev means to hold back. That means holds back. Ma'akev means it holds you back from fulfilling your obligation. It's ma'akev. That is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Nechemia is of the opinion that everything, all avodas that the kohen gadol does are going to be need to be done the way it's written in the Torah. That's the way it needs to be done. So it goes like this. Says the Gemara. An example of that would be the goral loy ma'akvi or not ma'akev kuli amal loy pligi loy ma'akva. So everybody is going to agree. Meaning even Rabbi Yanai, who says the goral is ma'akev, he agrees that Rabbi Yehuda does not agree, does not hold like him. So that Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai both agree that Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is that the goral is not ma'akev. Kipli. So where do they argue? That's a libud Rabbi Nechemia. Manda Amar ma'akva. So that's Rabbi Yanai who says that the goral is ma'akev. So Rabbi Nechemia, he holds like Rabbi Nechemia. Umanda Amar loy ma'akva, the one who says that it's not ma'akev. So he agrees to Rabbi Nechemia in theory that all of the avodas of the kohen gadol on Yom Kippur are ma'akev, but hanimili avoda. That's if you're doing an avoda. Hagrola lav avoda. He disagrees and he holds that the lotto itself is not considered an avoda, and therefore that is why it is not ma'akev. Okay, that is one way to understand the machlekes between Rabbi Yanai and Rabbi Yehuda. Ika d'amri. There's another way to understand it, and that's as follows: Aliv Rabbi Nechemia d'amar ma'akva kuli amalei pligi de ma'akva. Meaning, even Rabbi Yochanan agrees that I can't go like Rabbi Nechemia. I agree that a goral is considered an avodah, and I hold that it is not ma'akav. And Rabbi Yanai says, and Rabbi Nechemia holds that it is ma'akav. So keep pligi, where do Rabbi Nechemia and where do Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai disagree? Aliba de Rabbi Yehuda. Man the Amr loy ma'akva Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yochanan says that it's not ma'akav if you didn't do the goral, so then he'd be holding like Rabbi Yehuda. Man the Amr ma'akva shani hacha. Over here it's different. Why is that? The Tana Beikra. Here the Torah reiterates, it repeats. Tana Beikra means the Torah repeats itself. And it says, Asher Allah trezimni. Asher Allah Hagoral. That the girl went up upon it. So it says that 2 times. So that's telling you that it is ma'akev. It is necessary. Okay, so that's our machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai, and our machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Here we go. Meisvei, Frakti Gemara. Mitzvah lahagro. A brisa says that there's a mitzvah to do a girl. The Eloi higro, and if you didn't do that, so Bishlam lahachlish the Amrit Aliv Rabbi Yehuda Kuli Amalei Pligi Delay Ma'akva Hamani Rabbi Yehudi. So according to the first lashon, that says that everybody's in agreement that according to Rabbi Yehuda, the goral is not ma'akev. So then the time of this brisa is Rabbi Yehuda. Very good. Top of Mem Amar Aleph. Elo lahach lishna de amrit. But according to the second lashon, that says that Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yanai are arguing according to Rabbi Yehuda. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says that the girl is not ma'akev, so that's fine. Hamani Rabbi Yehuda, the Tana could still be Rabbi Yehuda. El Manda Amar Ma'akva, but according to Rabbi Yanai, who says that even Rabbi Yehuda would agree with me that the goral is ma'akev because it was shana, but the Torah repeats itself, Asher Allah Allah. So then Hamani, who is going to be the time of this brisa, who says that the girl is not ma'akev? So our answers, Tini. I want you to understand what the brisa says, even though it says the words mitzvah lahagril and lohigril kosher, it doesn't mean goral, the actual goral. It means tani mitzvah lahaniach. It's a mitzvah to place it on the animal. If you didn't place it on the animal, then that is not ma'akev. Tesis to the left says hadaka amar tani mitzvah lahaniach ena magia habrisa. He's not changing the words of the brisa. She's explaining. What does it mean? Higril, there are 2 parts of the goral. There's taking it out of the box and it's putting it on the animal. So this part, when this brisa is referring to the second part of the hanach. Okay. So far, so good. Tashima. Next brisa. Brisa says mitzvah lahagril ulehisvadis. There's a mitzvah to do a goral, and there's a mitzvah to say viduy on the seirim. What happens if you did neither of those? Kosher. It's still okay. Neither are ma'akev. Okay. So we got a problem here because here we have another brisa saying that doing the goral is not ma'akev. All right, so you already got it. Maybe you'll just say it means hanacha here too. Let's try it. So you'll want to say that when it says goral here, it also means lahaniach. Ema Seifa. Well, let's take a look at the Seifa. The Seifa says, Reb Shimon Aimer, Loi Higril Kasher. I agree if he didn't do the goral, it's not ma'akev. But like Hisvada, if he didn't say viduy pasol, viduy is ma'akev. Okay, now what does he say? Reb Shimon is of the opinion when it comes to the goral that Loi Higril Kasher. If he didn't do the goral, it's kasher. Well, what does that mean? My lehigril. What does it mean? He didn't do a goral. If you want to tell me what this brisa means is that you didn't place it on the animal, that's all it means. Mithlal. That would mean that what is Reb Shimon arguing? And Reb Shimon's agreeing and saying lehigril kosher. He's saying lehiniach kosher. Mechlal, which would mean he only is agreeing that Lehiniach would be kosher. But if he didn't do goral at all, then even Reb Shimon would agree that that's a problem. Mechlal, Reb Shimon saver hagrola ma'akva. So you're telling me that Reb Shimon holds that if you didn't do the goral, that's going to be a problem. Now you hear the diak, meaning if what the Brisa says when it says lehigro, it means you didn't do a goral at all, and Reb Shimon's agreeing that if you didn't do a goral at all, that would be still kosher. That means Reb Shimon's opinion would be that a goral is not ma'akiv. But if you're telling me that the Brisa, when it says lehigro, it means that you weren't meniach, you didn't put it down. But if you didn't do a goral, it would be a problem. So you're saying Reb Shimon also holds that not doing a goral would be a problem. But that's not true, because Vatani learned in a Brisa, Meis Echad Mehem. What happens if one of the Seirim die? So the Tanakam says, Mevi Chaverei Shaloi B'Hagral. The Reb Shimon is of the opinion, no problem. You don't need to do a goral. You just bring another animal, and that'll be your new whichever one that'll take the place of the one that died. But the Tanakama, who doesn't bring, or the other opinion is, no, if you hold the goral as ma'akiv, then both of if the one that died, well, it's dead, the other animal is not puzzle, because I have to do a new goral. And if I have one that's already Lashem, let's say, so I can't do a goral on it anymore, so that animal's got to go, and I got to bring two new seirim, and I got to do the goral again. That's if you hold the goral as ma'akiv. But if you hold the goral as not ma'akiv, so I don't have to do a goral, so if one of them died, just bring another one. So you see that Shimon's opinion is that the goral is not ma'akiv. Not just hanach is not ma'akiv. The goral is not ma'akiv. So then we got a problem with this brisa. How could you tell me when it says lehigril, it means haniach? That wouldn't work with Reb Shimon. So I have to say lehigril literally means that you didn't do a goral at all. So then I have a brisa that is of the opinion that a goral is not ma'akiv. And it's not Reb Shimon, because Reb Shimon is the next part of the brisa. So it says the Gemara, you got to read the brisa a little bit differently. Reb Shimon lo yoda ma'ika amir rabbanan. In this brisa, when it said mitzvah lahagril ulhazvados, so Reb Shimon wasn't sure what the rabbanan meant when they said that lehigril kosher. So this is what Reb Shimon is responding. If what you're saying is that you didn't do a goral at all, so then then I only disagree with you in one point. I agree with you that if you didn't do a goral at all, it's kosher. But this viduy business, I disagree with. Viduy is definitely ma'akiv. And if what you meant when you said hagrola, you just meant hanacha, so then I'm actually disagreeing with you on both points. I disagree with you, number one, that hanacha, the goral itself is not ma'akiv, not just hanacha, and I did disagree with you with the viduy point. Okay. Now you may be wondering if there is such a Tana who holds that the goral is not ma'akiv at all. So then why couldn't we just say that the brisa on the bottom of Lamed Testament Beis was Reb Shimon? Why do we have to come up with explaining how it's possible for it to be Reb Yehuda? Just say that it's Reb Shimon. So that's Taisus, top Taisus, top Taisus. Taisus says, "Have a matzah l'shinuyeh hamani Reb Shimon." I could answer that it's Reb Shimon that holds like goral and ma'akiv, but Taisus says l'maisa it doesn't work out because the source of this brayz is a Tosefta, and the Tosefta clearly has Reb Shimon as an independent shita. So it would sound like this Tana is not Reb Shimon. That's why the Gemara doesn't give you as an alternative. Okay, now you see here the little aleph is the bach, and he sends you to the last line of the page, and Rashi does as well. If you look at the bottom Rashi of Azdula Tamayu, Rashi says, "Apukta deleihisvadakai." This is referring back to this machlokes of Reb Shimon and the Tanakama of whether or not viduy is ma'akiv. The Reb Shimon holds that viduy is ma'akiv. The Tanakama says it's not ma'akiv. So this is where it really the Azdula Tamayu should be where we're up to in the Gemara, but it's down here. has a different opinion, but let's learn it the way Rashi does. So here we go. This machlokes Reb Shimon and the Tanakama is Lashitas. The Tanya. We learned in a brace. Top of Memam base. Yamur Chai Lifnei Hashem Lechaper Olav. So it's this animal is Yamur Chai. This is the Sir Lazazel is Yamur Chai Lifnei Hashem Lechaper Olav to be Mechaper. So obviously that why you tell me Yamur Chai? Obviously it's going to be alive. Says the Gemara, Ad Masayiyah Zakok Lamur Chai. Until what point in the Avodah does this animal need to be alive? Gemara says, Ad Shas Matan Damei Shel Chaveri, and Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is until the Matan Dam, until you sprinkle the blood of the Ser Lashem, once that process is finished, so then if the animal dies, you're okay. Even if you didn't throw off the cliff, I guess. But that is even before you did viduy. Reb Shimon Aimer, no, at Shas viduy devarim. You actually, if this animal died before you did viduy on it, viduy is ma'akiv, and it will not be good. So, but my Kamafki, what are they arguing about? Says the Gemara Kedatani, we have a brisa. It says lechaper yamar chai lefnei Hashem lechaper olav. So when it says lechaper, what's it referring to? So the Tanakama review that says lechaper bekaparas damim akas medaber. The pasuk is referring to kaparas damim, meaning the zrikas adam, all of the matan dam, all of the different things you did with the blood of the Sar Lazazel, the Sar Lashem, which was sprinkling inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, sprinkling on the Pareches, and then sprinkling together with the Dam HaPar on the Mizbeach HaZav. That's what it's referring to. Where do we see the Lashon of the Chaper referring to the Dam, referring to the blood? It says, he finished from the Kapara in the Kodesh, which is the three things I just mentioned. So just like over there, the Lashon Kapara is referring to the Dam. Kind of when it says L'chaper Olav, it's referring to Kapara's Dam. That's his opinion. If Shimon Aimer L'chaper Olav b'Kapara's Devar Makasav Medaber. When it says L'chaper Olav, it's referring to the Kapara of Devar, of words, of saying viduy. So that's the machlokes, whether or not Kapara, whether or not viduy is ma'akev. Reb Yehuda is of the opinion that viduy is not ma'akev. Reb Shimon is of the opinion that viduy is ma'akev. Let's go back to Mem Amar Aleph. We have one more brisa. Toshima. Here we go, middle of the page. Par ma'akev es hasa'ir, v'sa'ir ein ma'akev es hapar. Not an easy amud. Here we go. Par ma'akev es hasa'ir, the par. Let's just review for a minute. The Kohen Gadol brought a par, his own par, and he brought a Sir Lashem, 2 karbanos. Now, take a look at the Rashi on the last skinny line on the page. Okay, it says, V'seder avodah seyen. Let's take a look at what was the order of the par and the sayr. So, Seder avodasan kachi, this is their order. Beparsha, written down. Betchila, first, misvada al hapar viduy rishon. The Kohen Gadol would go to his par and do viduy on it, on Hashem, and that was for he and his family. V'acher kach, afterwards, magril al hasirim. That was the next Mishnah, where he went back, he went to the 2 Seirim and he did the goral. Great. V'acher kach misvada al hapar viduy sheni. Then he goes back to his par and he does a second viduy, which is for Sheva, for the Kahanim. And he shechts the par. Okay, good. Now he goes and he does the avodah of the keteris lefnei v'lefnim. Umachnes kaf umachta. He brings in the keteris and the shovel. The nation has the keteris al. He puts the keteris onto the fire. That's the keteris. Then he v'neisim midam hapar ala kaperis. He takes the blood from the par that he shechted, and he puts it, he sprinkles it inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim on the kapiris. Then he goes and he shechs the seir lashem. I guess he did a video on that one too. V'neisin mimenu al kaperis, and he takes the blood and goes back into the Kodesh HaKodashim and sprinkles that dam hasoyer onto the kaperis. Then he does. He takes the blood back to the par and now sprinkles onto the pareiches. So he stands outside the Kodesh HaKodashim and sprinkles onto the pareiches. And then he takes from the dam hasoyer and sprinkles it onto the pareiches. Then he mixes it all together, and the dam hapar and the dam hasoyer mixes together, and he puts that onto the mizbeach hapnimi. Okay, so let's just get this again. First, he does viduy on his par. Then he does the goralis. Then he goes a second viduy on his par, shechtsit. Does the keteris inside the Kodesh HaKodashim. Sprinkles the dam hapar on the pareiches. On the kapiris. Then shechts the seir lashem and sprinkles that dam on the kapiris. Then sprinkles the dam hapar on the pareiches, the dam asar on the pareiches, mixes them together, and does a dam on the mizbeach hazav. Okay, those are the avodas, and that's the order. Now, the Brisa says, par ma'akev es hasoyer. It means if you did one of the avodas of the soyer before the par, that does not count. The par will be ma'akev. The order of the par will be ma'akev anything you do with the soyer. So if you did something out of order with the soyer, if you did it before you did the par, it's as if it's ma'akev. It doesn't count. You're gonna have to do it again. The soyer ain't ma'akev as a par, but if you did something with the soyer out of order, that won't mess up what you're doing with the par, and that's talking about the matanes shabifnim, and matanes that are done inside. Okay, now the Gemara is going to try to figure out what are we talking about. Bishlama par ma'akev es hasoyer. I understand where you can have that. You did this soyer out of order, and you'll have to do it again. If you did an avodah with the soyer before that of the par, you didn't do it. So let's say you sprinkled the dam of the soyer before you sprinkled the dam of the par inside the Kodesh HaKodashim. That doesn't count. You have to do that again. Okay. Okay. Ella soyer ein ma'akev es hapar ma'iniu. What did you do? All right, listen, maybe I sprinkled the dam of the par of the heichel, means on the pareiches, mikami matanes desar b'fnim, before I did the matanes of the sayir inside the Kodesh HaKodashim. 1 second, we have a problem. Chuka ksiv b'hu. The Torah says chayk, meaning even Rabbi Yehuda agrees that avodas, an avodah that the Kohen Gadol is wearing a lavan for, and it's in the Kodesh HaKodashim, he agrees that is going to be ma'akev. That's because the Torah says chayk, and he holds that's going on avodas that are bifnim. So that is going to be ma'akev. So that can't be the scenario. Elalav. So what could it be? The aktim matones depar bifnim mekame hagrola. Maybe you did the matana of the par inside the Kodesh HaKodashim before you did the goral. Remember, you were supposed to do the viduy on your par, then the goral, and then the viduy on the par again, and then shechting and the matanas of the dam of the par bifnim. But let's say you skipped the goral and you just did the whole par avodah. So says the Gemara, so that would be a scenario. You were makdim the par, you did the par before the goral of the soyer. And that what you're telling me that wouldn't be ma'akev. So Gemara assumes if the seder is not ma'akev, then ikra hagrola nami ma'akiv, then maybe the whole goral is not ma'akiv. And if you didn't do the goral at all, it's not ma'akiv either. And then the question would be, okay, well, who would that be like that holds that the goral is not ma'akiv at all? Okay, and we mentioned before that there was a shita, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that held that the girl would be ma'akiv because it says Allah Allah twice. So then we're in trouble. Who's going to be the Tana of this? Braisa. It's not Rabbi Nachami. He for sure holds the girl is ma'akiv, and it can't be Rabbi Yehuda either, according to that Manda Amar. Says the Gemara, Loy. The achtim, I'll tell you this, what the Braisa is talking about. The achtim matanis the par b'mizbeach. You did the matana of the par on the mizbeach hazav mekame matanis the sar bechel before you did the matanas of the sayer on the pareiches. Okay, Rabbi Yehudi damar dvar manasim b'dei lovin b'chutz le'ma'akvi. That'll be great because now we're not in the Kodesh HaKodashim. So Rabbi Yehuda holds it's not ma'akiv if you do it out of order. The Brisa said we're talking about matanis that are b'fnim, so that can't be. You're giving me two matanis that are b'chutz. You'd have to say that this Brisa is actually Reb Shimon, the Amar Hagro le'ma'akva, that holds that the girl is takanah ma'akiv. That's what would come out because the only scenario that I had where you had the par, you did an avodah of the par before that of the sayer, and it's not ma'akiv, would be a scenario where you skip the goral. Okay? Or you could say, Rabbi Yehuda, it is Rabbi Yehuda. When he does the besidul ma'akva, ma'akva, you made a jump. You said that, if the seder is not ma'akiv, then the girl is also not ma'akiv. Who says maybe the seder is not ma'akiv, but the girl is ma'akiv, and therefore it could be Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, we'll stop with this Amid over here, and we will continue with Mem Amid Beis next.